Hello, and welcome back to my corner. These days when you're on the internet, you're going to run across things that are just crazy. Sometimes they're just insane. This is something that's not just ludicrous, it's completely absurd.
When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second.
This is a sheriff, Democrat, of Bexar County. Bexar County is San Antonio. San Antonio is very close to the border.
He is a self-serving man.
So he just said that Donald Trump is a self-serving man, only out for himself. This is Donald Trump serving himself.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Do you have your piece yet? How are you? Good. How's you doing today?
Good. Are you having fun?
It's a great speech.
Yes, he is.
What are you building?
That was footage from Hurricane Harvey when he came to Houston into a shelter to serve everybody. He was there in line serving food to all of those who had lost their homes after the hurricane.
I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
And worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out.
So when they talk about killing the border bill, that was that disastrous border bill that actually sent, $60 billion more to Ukraine, spent nothing on our border, and yet still continued to allow people to come over in the thousands. There was a reason why he killed that border bill. The only people that did any good was Ukraine. What makes me laugh about this video is that he actually said Kamala, the border czar, was the best person for the job and not Trump. On top of that, Trump just had a press conference today at the border in Arizona, where he discussed with CBP ways to secure the border and reasons why it desperately needs to be secured. It kind of makes you wonder, how much money were they paying that sheriff? Or what kind of dirt do they have on the guy to get him to say something so ludicrous, something that we all know is obvious falsehood? But I really think one of the reasons that they're so afraid, not just this sheriff, but everybody in the current government, is they know that once we have a transfer of power and Trump is in the White House, he's going to clear the swamp. He's going to get rid of everybody. He's going to get rid of everybody who had a hand in anything that destroyed this country. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and some people maybe even going to prison. Y'all remember Afghanistan? That crazy withdrawal that we did from Afghanistan? I'm not sure on the actual numbers, but we left something like 500 to 700,000 personnel carriers behind. These are little armored tanks. We left somewhere in the neighborhood of 700,000 rifles, automatics. They're still there. Not only are they being used to outfit the Afghanistan Taliban, they're selling it. They're selling it all over the world. This is humiliating for the United States. That's probably going to go down in history as the most unbelievably catastrophic withdrawal that we have ever done from any country we have been at war with. Thankfully, when Donald Trump drains the swamp, and that means a lot of people in DC, it also means a lot of people in the military.
But America is blessed with the greatest military in the world, but our men and women in uniform have been betrayed by radical left politicians and some generals, and at the top they're woke. They're woke. We don't want woke generals. We want generals that know how to win, and we have them. Everywhere I go, soldiers and veterans tell me how angry they are that not one person has been held accountable for the Afghanistan catastrophe. He never fired anybody. You know, I fire a lot of people when they don't do a good job. Then they come back and write books. You know, they hate you, but that's okay. But I fired a lot of people. I wasn't happy with their service. I wasn't happy with the job they did. I fire them. I let them go. I mean, I'm working for you. I'm not doing this for myself. But when you fire them, they always come back with something. And now nobody's ever been in the position where, you know, they get offered all sorts of money from the fake news and everything else, and fame. We're going to make you famous. All you have to do is make up some stories about Trump. You know, when I came, don't forget, I didn't know anybody in Washington, but now I know them all in Washington. I know the good ones, the weak ones, guys like this. I know the weak ones and the bad ones, General. We know the dumb ones and the smart ones, don't we? We know them all. But the voters will hold Kamala and Joe accountable for this November when I take office, and they're going to be held accountable for what they've done to this country. Right? Thank you. I will ask for the resignations of every single senior military official who touched the Afghanistan disaster. I want their resignations immediately. And I want them on the desk in the Oval Office, the Resolute desk. I want them on at 12 o'clock, Inauguration Day. Everybody involved with that disaster. When you have a disaster so stupid as that caused us such problems, you don't know what that's done to the reputation of our country, the Afghanistan disaster. This house cleaning will be a signal to the entire world and America military and everybody else. They want people to be held accountable for failure and incompetence. And it's just not acceptable that something like that could happen.
We've got a lot to look forward to in the future. And just imagine how wonderful this country could actually be if there were no corruption in Washington and everything ran the way it was supposed to, and all the money designated for certain things actually made it to those things. That would be a very, very nice country indeed. All we have to do is get Donald Trump elected, and I'll see you next time in my corner of the world.